Let's be real, there's a lot of negativity surrounding Xbox right now, and I understand some of that. It's clearly not been Microsoft's week. They started off this year with such amazing announcements, and then of course we got some of the news about the Perfect Dark situation. Now listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I said so last year. I said it sounds very odd that years into the cycle and production of the game that they're bringing in another studio to help out. Now a lot of people kind of cast my thoughts aside and said that I was wrong and fear-mongering and, just making things up. But at the end of the day, it turns out that I was 100% right. And that's not something to gloat about. I want Perfect Dark to be a good game. I want that studio to succeed. But the problem is when you build a studio from the ground up, it's hard to kind of get a culture going and kind of get things moving in the right direction because you have nothing else to kind of base it on. You basically don't have a core group of people. You're just bringing in all new people to kind of work together, and sometimes that doesn't mesh. And that's exactly kind of what we found out, and that's why Crystal Dynamics was brought in. Now, I'm sure the game is still going to be fine, but it is a little bit disheartening by the fact that, we're not going to be able to play it when we wanted to. But everything's not all doom and gloom. Yes, there is that bit of information and that bit of news that everybody's kind of talking about and kind of dogging on Microsoft. They definitely have to find a way to break that medium. Basically, what I'm talking about is they need to come in between of, being kind of non-hands-on and also being somewhat hands-on. You can't just let these studios take 10 years to build something. I feel like you still have a obligation to the fans and gamers and things like that. But I do want to get into it because it's going to be a good topic. Hey everybody, I'm Crap Gamer and this is Crap Gamer Reviews. Of course, your home for video game news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice, some changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from leaving us a like. That's basically all I ask. It really helps the channel be seen and the videos to be seen. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. It means everything to me. So, yes, there is the bad news, but there's also good news. There's a lot of positive stuff going on there with Microsoft right now. One of the main things that's going on is, for the first time, Xbox Series X and S has actually outsold the PlayStation 5 in both North America and Europe for the first time in their history. Still struggling to get your hands on a next-gen console? Well, you're certainly not alone, as the global chip shortages continue to get worse, not better. New consoles remain a rare sight on retail shelves, with the PlayStation 5 seemingly particularly affected. So much so that February saw the Xbox Series X and S outsell the PlayStation 5 in both North America and Europe for the first time ever. Microsoft's win comes about due to the relative availability of the Xbox Series S, the only new console that can semi-regularly be found on store shelves. That said, Microsoft's victory is a somewhat hollow one, as console sales were down as a whole in February due to availability issues. According to the NPD Group itself, North American hardware sales were down 27% year-on-year in February, and the situation was even worse in Europe, with console sales down 32%. Also, while the Xbox Series X and S beat the PS5, they were both bested by the Nintendo Switch yet again. Could the current severe PS5 supply issue be a protracted problem? And could Microsoft have a chance to make up some ground? It's really hard to say, as Sony has provided very little guidance about what PS5 supply could look like for the rest of 2022. But here's hoping we can find a good place to get console sales that reflect which hardware players really want most, rather than just what they could get their hands on. Unfortunately, we don't have a definitive answer right there. And according to Matt Priscatella of the MPD Group, he says, friendly reminder that hardware market results in any particular window over the past year plus are more a factor of available supply than anything else. Best not to try to extrapolate too much in terms of consumer sentiment from the hardware sales. Anybody out there that managed to get their hands on a new console recently? Anybody grab an Xbox Series S just because the options weren't available elsewhere? Now, this is a very interesting take. I mean, still, I think it's good that Microsoft really kind of forethought. The reason why I look at this as a win is, simply put, listen, Microsoft kind of had an idea of what was going on. Nobody could have known what was going to happen with like the pandemic and stuff like that, I'm sure. But, I do feel like what we're going to see in the future is continued from where Microsoft kind of plays the guessing game and kind of goes in the right direction for the guessing game. That's something that all of us probably don't really realize when it comes to these type of things, is that a lot of it is kind of guessing where things are going to go in the future. You know what I mean? And they keep on continuing to do some amazing things. That's not the only bit of good news, though, right? Like, there's been negativity around Halo Infinite. I think Halo Infinite's a good game, but last year, again, spoke up and said they should probably delay it until there's co-op and until there is the Forge. And the reason why is because the multiplayer stuff, if you have Forge, you're going to have people building maps for you. That takes care of a big content problem in and of itself. And I really feel like that's something that, gamers in general, that's the big problem when it comes to Halo. Like, people don't understand that that is what a lot of the issue is and things like that. So I do hope that people understand kind of what's happening with that situation. But we got some new information on this, and it does sound like there is a lot of content coming, and that it looks like there's going to be a new version of Warzone and Battle Royale elements. So what's next for Halo Infinite in terms of a major new multiplayer modes? Well, we've got Slayer, we've got Big Team Battle, and then what? Well, according to a new leak, it seems a Battle Royale flavored take on Halo 5's Warzone may be in the works. The leak comes courtesy of a reliable insider, Halo Hub, who claims to have received screenshots showing various parameters for what they claim is a new version of Warzone. Interestingly enough, a lot of these things, including a drop pods and customized containment zones, hint pretty strongly that the new mode will have some sort of Battle Royale elements. And according to this, he says, major news, it looks like a successor to Halo 5's Warzone may be in the works with Battle Royale-like characteristics. They've received these screenshots recently, and no others have too. Note, we don't expect this mode to release anytime soon. For those unfamiliar, the original Halo 5 version of Warzone was a 24-player mode that tasked players with capturing bases against human or AI opponents on large maps. If this ends up being the real deal, it'll be interesting to see how much of the original Warzone is retained. This isn't the first time, of course, that we've heard rumors of a Battle Royale-esque mode coming to Halo Infinite. Earlier this year, rumors, of course, circulated that Halo support studio Certain Affinity may be working on a major new BR-inspired mode for Halo Infinite. Of course, take it all with a grain of salt for right now, but it certainly wouldn't be a shock if Halo were to take the Battle Royale route, particularly given the experiments with more open game design we've seen in the game's single-player campaign. So, I thought that the campaign was pretty decent. I don't think it was the best campaign, but I thought they did a really good job with it for what they wanted to do. Obviously, I felt like it really needed co-op because clearing out some of those things seemed kind of boring to do over and over again by yourself. But, at the end of the day, I still think that they kind of did a lot of good things for what they wanted to do. But the main thing where they kind of failed, in my opinion, is they really lacked that situation where they had, that amazing new piece of content, right? Like they need, like I feel like when we keep on seeing these kind of games as a service games release, and the main problem that I find is they don't have the content ready to go when they need it ready to go. Like this was true with Sea of Thieves, it's true with Rainbow Six Siege, it's true with so many games. You got to have content ready to go, and the fact that you're spending 6 months in one season is really going to be off-putting to a lot of gamers, and that's really unfortunate. I'm sure we'll hear more about what's going to come in the future, but like what E3 time or whatever. But I think that we need like a lot of these modes introduced and announced to get people's hype up. And we also need some kind of single player content. I feel like where I was most disappointed was the fact that we spent the entire game on this one planet, like this one hub world. There's only like one biome, and like you go into the little like side areas or whatever for the chapters, but they all kind of look the same, and then you're back onto kind of this generic hub world. And they've done it so much better in the past. The snow, there's so many different places that you could be, so it's a little bit upsetting. But again, every game's going to be different, but this is very interesting and very good news. It looks like we're getting some kind of Warzone, some sort of battle royale back. I'm excited for this, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays off and pays out for Microsoft and gamers. What do you guys think about this? I'm going to leave the links in the description below. Check it out. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Thank you so much for watching. Crap Gamer out.